It's not that deep.
It's not that deep, bro. Every time.
I knew it'd get me.
I knew every time. Just keep doing it.
You know what episode this is? It's 15. It's 15.
Yeah, 15.
And we're together, number one.
Somewhere very special.
Yeah, this is
it's very...
it's the first episode in a long time.
Exotic. Gone outside.
Well, we've been physically with one another.
Oh, it's been quite... What, how many? 5?
Past 3 or 4 episodes, we've been doing the Skype thing.
Mm-hmm. And now we're together again.
Obviously, the situation has changed, and here we are. It's a glorious day.
Mm-hmm.
We're at a undisclosed forest location.
Undisclosed.
On this log.
That's very uncomfortable. But we're here.
How you been?
All right, I guess. A little bit more worse for wear.
You said you got ulcers in your throat, man.
No, in my throat, on the side of my mouth.
That's
like
worrying.
Here. No, I don't think it's ulcers. I think it's more like what's the other word?
I don't want to say it.
Like I've cut myself by biting. I bit myself.
But that's stress as well, you know, when you're grinding your teeth and you're chewing your cheeks because you're at work and you're not where you want to be.
I don't think that's what it was. I was just eating and I was eating too fast and I sort of just munched myself, I guess.
You think it's inherently more simple than I was making it?
Yeah, a little bit. You're making it worse than it actually is, and I'm like, oh shit, is it worse than it actually is?
I guess we'll see. In the long run.
Yeah, we'll
see.
see.
Martin can talk next episode.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will. I'll make it happen.
I think today we're going to have a little chat about Mulholland Drive.
We are.
David Lynch, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Second David Lynch film we're talking about.
That's right. First one was on the first ever episode.
We left him alone for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
shout out to people who remember what the first film was.
That'll be minimal.
Minimal. But still.
So, what did you think of Mulholland Drive, Martin?
It wasn't as strange as other films that we've watched, like Holy Mountain, but it was like a little bit realistic to a point where you're like, this can actually happen.
It was, yeah, I would say out of all of the David Lynch films that there are, Mulholland Drive has a lot of mainstream appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And a tangible narrative. It's nearly linear. It's nearly linear.
It's near is a bit pessimistic. Like it's there, but I don't think it's that near.
For those of you that haven't seen Mulholland Drive, it's I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it's a tale of a young woman coming to Hollywood with stars in her eyes. She's promised her family that they'll see her on the TV when she's made it finally. And she goes through the motions of the Hollywood machine, experiencing a lot of the stuff that's like in the media, you know, over the past few years with the Me Too stuff. And, she perceives herself to be a victim of stereotypical elements of the movie industry. But as the film goes on, it transpires that she's concocting this narrative to cope with the idea that she has failed in that first intention of making it.
Yeah. And she sees herself as this, like...
victim, basically.
Yeah, constantly.
And it's like a...
But you only see it...
She constructs a whole conspiracy.
Yeah.
As to why she failed.
It's hard to think who the main character is. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you see
it's Naomi Watts, but I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose the way it starts as well leads you to believe... Yeah, you don't actually see the main character until about, I think, half an hour in. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, you're constantly like, oh, this is going to be about this woman who did this and this has happened.
Who had a car crash.
Yeah,
maybe.
who had a car crash. I'm like, oh, okay. Fair enough. She's lost her memory. And
you think she is the femme fatale of the film.
That's right. And as soon as you sort of like get, I'll say like 3/4 of the way through, you sort of realize, oh shit,
Well,
there's nothing about her. This is nothing to do with her.
With her, and you start to question Naomi Watts' character and the relationship that
They have.
Have sort of thing. So
Had. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite films, Mulholland Drive, because it's still underrated, I think. I think, like, what it's actually about has not been fully appreciated yet. Because it, like, speaks, as I say, to a lot of what is going on in... It's the story of the young woman that manages to construct an ideal version of her life. Speaks to what I believe a lot of people are doing, like living lives in constructed narratives where the negative things that have happened into their life, well, everything happens for a reason, and they need to justify it because it hurt them that bad, really. So because they don't want to take the full brunt of the pain of the reality of the situation, people construct narratives and reasons for things happening that make them feel better about it.
It's just so like, it's really sad.
Oh, it's it's
fucked up.
Really, really
like,
sad film, and at the end, it
just gets
this
too much.
jarring cut where you see her actual life, and she's quite an aggressive individual. Well, she's bitter about the whole situation.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you're bitter about the situation, you haven't made it.
But it's all
especially,
up to you.
yeah, exactly. Especially like if you see how it actually happens, you're like, just if you haven't made it, just try
something else. But keep trying.
Yeah, keep trying. There's no.
It speaks to Hollywood being put up on a pedestal, the land of dreams, the place you go to make it, sort of thing. And it's
only the 1% makes it though.
Well, it's only because she built it up so much that she fell so hard.
Yeah,
basically, and she bought into the whole stars in the eyes, sort of go into Hollywood thing, which is what everyone does. But with the internet and stuff like that,
nowadays,
with this virus that's happening, everyone's leaving California.
Yeah.
Like, those days are over now.
Yeah.
And, with Harvey Weinstein exposed, it has given everybody a taste of what's actually happening in the entertainment industry. But this is something that Mulholland Drive lays out, 19 years ago. Pretty bluntly as well.
Compared to... There's so many films that we've watched while we've been doing this series that just
are ahead of their time.
Are way ahead of their time.
Well, that's the whole point of this podcast, Martin, to be honest with you, is that...
Like,
I've seen...
how are people not, realising that the shit that happens or the films that are made 10, 20, 30 years ago are, so much more relevant now?
There's films that were made nearly 100 years ago that are incredibly still under. I don't want to say underrated or underappreciated. It's what they're about has not had light shed onto it. I can't put it into words correctly. The intentions of the director are not in the mass awareness.
Obviously, we've started this podcast to sort of see the view of the.
The person who made it.
No, to see the view of the common people, I guess. The people that just
bring
see
the view of the filmmaker to the common people.
That's right. Yeah. So you see the message behind every film that we watch, and I just give it the first view. Do you know what I mean? But then now I'm sort of realizing every time I watch a film and we do a podcast about it, I look more into the hidden meaning behind the film, and it's like getting more and more and more.
You're realizing that there's more and more. Well,
to everything that is being done and every scene that has been put out there.
I always think
so it's a learning curve.
I think of it as quite simple. Like when I'm watching something, I'm like, someone made this.
That's right.
Well, like
what were they thinking?
Well, they did it for a reason. You are completely right, Martin. In that it's a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
That I think you should just be open to wondering, like, why does this exist?
Because I always
everything, in my opinion, it's a good attitude to be cultivating.
The thing is, that you want to find out why everything exists, but there's that question that always stops you. Well, if you look at the stars and you're like, why does that exist? Why does the universe exist? Shit like that. Like there's so many different types of people that are like, religion, science.
They're the big questions.
Yeah.
But I think there's questions that are still unanswered down here that will answer those questions. Don't forget about that stuff.
No, of course not.
Just take the attitude of wanting to understand everything into your everyday life. And if everyone does that, I think we'll get the answer to that. I do believe so. But in terms of films, as you say, people weaponize their films or their art to say something. Like, there's a David Lynch film called Blue Velvet. And there's a specific scene that's pretty, like, horrifying. And when it involves a young girl, and when they filmed it, he was like, fantastic, you'll have them running for the fire exits. Like, that was his intention with the film. Like, not to, like, entertain or make you feel good or make you feel, like, comfortable.
So that you leave
not
fear.
He doesn't actually want you to leave, but you understand the intention, like, that'll have them shook up, is what he was saying in an exaggerated manner.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's great to watch a film that makes you feel, like, warm and cozy. Because sometimes you need to feel like that. But I would say 85% of the time for me, I'm looking to feel uncomfortable.
When you watch any film. I don't feel like any other films that we've done have made me feel uncomfortable. More the fact that
the dream sequence in Mulholland Drive makes me feel fairly uncomfortable.
Really?
And then just the overall... as we said, it's very sad.
Yeah. But the thing is, you don't realise that till the end.
No.
Like, literally, the last 10, 20 minutes of the film, that's when you realise that you're like, oh, shit.
But that's why it's a masterful film.
Yeah, because from the beginning...
what's going on.
From the beginning, you're constantly like, oh, is she gonna regain her memories? Is she gonna be all right? All of a sudden, massive twist. And you're like...
Twist. What happened at the very beginning of the film, Martin? Just describe what's happening. Very, very start. You could say it in 2 words.
I could say in 2 words?
Yeah. Everybody's dancing. It's red.
Right.
And everybody's dancing. There is a lot of people dancing on screen, and it's just not explained. And then it cuts into the diner scene.
What's that?
There's a red... It's just the colour red, like a block red wall.
Right.
And then there's people, and they're like green screened on to that red screen, and they're dancing. You know, arms around one another, proper dancing.
I don't think I've seen that version.
That is the version. That is the film.
Don't remember that a little bit, to be honest. But I just...
But that summarises the whole film right there.
Everyone dancing.
That's Hollywood. Everyone's doing a dance.
It could be whatever. It could be anything.
But I think it's great that he says what the whole... People are always like with David Lynch films, oh, what's it about? You know, that's the whole thing with it. He says it. Mostly at the beginning of all his films, he'll give you, like, a scene that summarises the entire emotional tone of what the film is going to be.
I wonder what his actual goal is?
To bring truth and light to the masses.
But what's the truth and light? Like what are we talking is truth? What is the truth and what is the light that he's trying to bring to people? Because his truth may be
his truth
the lie to somebody else.
His truth is based... I mean, this is going to get deep here, but David Lynch's specific truth has its foundation largely in Hindu cosmology and ancient Indian religion. I would say is where a good portion of what people consider to be David Lynch's trademark weirdness comes from.
Why does he enjoy... Has he ever explained why he enjoys Hinduism? And
because he was a young man at one point in his life, and he had problems sleeping, and he had problems with stress and ulcers and things like that. And as he started to make more and more art, he found it harder and harder. He found the art was like taking over his life, and he was getting very anxious about it, and just everything in his life, I think, was getting to to a certain point. And I think at some point in the 1970s or early 80s, he learned meditation, and that would put him on the path. And now, in 2020, he owns what is known as the David Lynch Foundation, and they are the largest kind of meditation organization that exists. And
where they're based?
They have kind of like, I think they're based in California, but they have things all over the world. And they teach children in schools how to meditate, and they teach homeless people and all of that sort of thing. But it's in all his films. Really deep stuff. Even in like he calls Eraserhead his most spiritual film. Like there's stuff going on in Eraserhead that I think, again, in every David Lynch film, there's stuff going on that people probably are yet to realise.
That he put in there as a sort of Easter egg, and it's just people are still wondering what was that. Like to be honest, like Mulholland Drive has got some scenes like you said, the one at the start, people dancing, not explained.
Oh, it's simple.
The diner.
The diner's pretty simple though. Again, it summarises like the whole film. He says, "I had a dream that something bad was happening. And I think it's happening behind this place we're in right now." And the man he's with says, "Well, let's go see. If we're in the dream, and this is the dream, well, let's go check it out." And they go check it out. And he's completely right. There is something bad happening there, and it looks at him, but he can't handle it. Boom. That's the whole film right there.
Yeah.
But it's always so simple. People try too hard to understand these films. All you have to do is just explain what happened in the scene, and it becomes so obvious. You know what I mean? If you write down you're like, oh, well, he's just kind of like summarizing the film in this weird, kooky
scene that's happening.
And then, but I love that, making all these connections.
The thing is, I was trying not to. Should we wait?
I'm happy to continue.
Hello, boy. Look at him.
He's a good boy.
Or girl.
Or girl.
Anyway, it seems like when I saw that scene halfway through the film, it just weirded me out because, like, who are these two men? Where do they come from? Like the stuff the scene itself makes sense.
Yeah, but who are those men? It just simply really doesn't matter. There's a lot of people out there.
There is a lot of people out there, but if it's David Lynch, he put them two people in there for a reason.
there probably is reasoning, and there probably is...
Because obviously you see them at the end.
I'm trying to think what their capacity is at the end of the film. Where are they in the end of the film?
The diner.
They're in the
But
diner.
you only see one man. And the other person...
Which one is it? Which man is it? The one who faints?
Yeah.
It's the one who faints, and he's the one who's having the dream, and he's in the diner.
Yeah. But he's in the diner with
so the bad thing...
Naomi, that character. She's not in with her, but she goes in there and sees him, and he smiles at her.
And he smiles at her.
So it's sort of like...
that's a whole thing, Martin. I'll be thinking about this now for, like, the next week, and I'll probably hit you up next week like, I got it!
This is what gets me. Like, the scene makes sense. Like, the way you explained it makes sense. The man in the scene, like, if it was supposed to be a dream for the characters that were in there, like Naomi and the other two, they would then be them two. Do you know what I mean? Like, he could have put it in so that the woman that loses
it will have something to do. You say it's at the end. She's in the diner because she's arranging the assassination, like a hit, isn't she?
Yeah.
So that is the Naomi Watts that is not in a dream, but the man that was having a bad dream but couldn't look at it is there. Mm-hmm. It's something to do with that, but I've not made the connection between the two things yet.
See, I got you with something. It's
good.
Like it's so like it always. It's the one thing I probably remember the most, except for that last scene where last probably 10 minutes where the
small people.
Yeah, the small people.
That again, that's like another great example of this Lynchian way of explaining things. That those people at the very beginning of the film, it's her grandparents, isn't it? And she says, "Oh, we hope to see you on the television." So she has embarked on this whole Hollywood career thing with her grandparents in mind, wanting to make them proud.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, when you're... Not that we're big, but when you're big, you call the people that you used to know in the town that you used to live in, you know, the little people. Do you still have time for the little people? That's like, you get asked that in an interview sort of thing. So David Lynch being David Lynch, at the very end of the film, when Naomi Watts' character is, the realisation is all coming down on her that she's failed and stuff like that, and she's becoming suicidal. It's the little people that eventually make her kill herself, because she has promised to the little people that she will make it. And now she knows that cannot happen. She is disappointed everyone she knows, and they physically come into the house and haunt her to death.
It's hard to get somebody out of that sort of mindset, because
once they've built it up,
because at the same time that you've built all this shit up, like you say, the little people are they're there for you from the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they're still there,
yeah,
but you think that you can't face them because,
that's it.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to get you out of that mindset. Once you're in there, you're like, oh shit, I can't face them, I can't look at them. And you're like, well, what am I gonna do here? And that happens.
Yeah.
And this is why it's probably one of the saddest films I've seen, just because
it's really real.
That's what. It's so sad because it's so real. Like, it's
people look for films to scare them. Like, people love horror films, but to me, the premise of Mulholland Drive is horrifying. Like, that is one of the most scariest.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Shit like that is just. It gets me because I'm like, oh, if I fail, I'm never gonna make it again. But at the same time, I have this attitude where I'm like, I can't give up. I've been thrown so many fucking left side balls where...
Curveballs.
So many fucking curveballs because of what I have, what I do, who I am, how I am, all this eyesight shit or whatever, that I'm like, I can't, it doesn't matter. I will carry on till I'm dead. Like,
you're,
you know what I mean? Like,
an
I hadn't.
honest person, Martin. You have taken your cards that you have been dealt, and you've read the hand. And
That's
taken
it.
it into account.
Just fucking carry on. Like, carry on till literally I can't give any more.
And I do believe it is that spirit that keeps one alive in the hardest of times.
But I also see the stress that life can put on somebody's like life. Somebody who ain't got a strong will, when something just doesn't go their way, it's their mental thinking capacity just goes, you know what? Well, I better.
It's the biggest tragedy when a human being feels like they can't do anything and they stop doing something. That is like,
and it
the worst thing that can happen,
like
outside of disease and all the getting hit by a bus and all those things. I mean, in terms of psyche and mindset, being in a state where you feel like you can't even like put clothes on, and thousands of people are there right now,
millions,
and have been there, and that's it's hard to take on board.
Yeah,
in my heart,
100%. Yeah, like it's just
because I've
it's unthinkable. Like I just, because of the way that I am, I'm just constantly moving forward. There's no moving backwards, because as soon as you step back, that's when you start seeing shit that's wrong, and you're like,
you've got to acknowledge when you go wrong, else you'll keep making the same mistakes.
That's right,
and that will lead to that same depression coming back. But then to dwell on the past seems foolish.
It's not good,
because you can't.
You take
into account what you can change.
That's right. Like, you have to take what you've done in the past and improve on what you've done in the past, but also forget that. Well, not to dwell on what you have done already, because it's done. It's done. Like, you can't change it like unless you got a fucking time machine.
It's like the odds are stacked against us mentally, because I find, I hate to go on about meditation, but I will shout the praise of it only for the benefit that I've gained in organising my mind and life from it. And I'll only try and talk about like the tangible, physical things that you can get from it that are going to translate into your day becoming better. And one of those things is that the minute that you try and sit on your own in a room for an extended period of time, be it 5 minutes, be it 10, or be it 20, like I attempt to do, the brain starts throwing you curveballs. It's like the brain actually, there's a person or there's something in there that's like, whoa, hang on, you're trying to like acknowledge you're trying to acknowledge what's going on. You're trying to take stock of things.
No.
Remember that time you pissed yourself when you were 7?
Yeah.
It starts doing stuff like that. And I've heard athletes and people, high-performing human beings, for example, like a gymnast that's trying to balance on a beam, it's when they try to do those things that these crazy memories start coming up. And it's like there's this system in the brain, whenever will comes in to try and create something new, there is a part of the human psyche that's like, will do everything it can to stop
you. Yeah, it's the same way
really
when
interesting.
It's the same way when you're trying to because a lot of games that I play, you sort of like feel like you could do something, but at the same time, when you've not ever done it, you're like, how the fuck am I supposed to do this? And it all takes. You'll be like, oh, there's a really big jump that you have to do, and it's been done before.
And the challenge seems incomprehensible.
Yeah, and it's been done before, though, and you know it's been done before, so you sort of like go at it, and you're like trying to do it, but then your brain's like, no, stop, and you just sort of like get out,
and then
you die, and you're like,
is the like that's the demon, that's the devil, that's the bad, that's the force that you should fight against in your life. That's basically. It's
sort of like it's one of them things where.
Well, you were just talking about video games, and for me, I don't play video games so much anymore. I will if the opportunity arises, but I don't have a console or anything. And but I played a load of video games when I was younger and really got into them. And a game like Pokemon, I use stuff from Pokemon in my life every single day. Stopped playing it like Ruby and Sapphire, but I loved the quirky interactions that you'd have with people just talking to them. Like random NPCs that had no use, but they'd just say something to you like, I love walking my Machoke on Tuesdays. And stuff like that. I loved like the little... You could talk to anyone, basically, and they wouldn't...
give you something that isn't...
a negative... Well, some characters would give you a negative response, but it was just safe, I suppose. You could walk around and speak to anyone, and life is not so much like that. But then also just the sense of adventure. Like, every single Pokemon game starts and you're a young boy that's been dropped off. You've moved house, or basically you're in new surroundings for the first time. And this guy, a professor, comes up to you and he's like, there's this thing going on. People do this thing. It's a big thing, Pokemon, and you can have one.
You can do it.
And you go out into the big world and
do this.
Get all the badges and all of that. But as a kid, that's like exciting. In the adult world, they nearly trick you. Like, it's not that, and it's paperwork and ties and everything's grey and bureaucratic. But if you just take the Pokemon attitude into your life, you will be more... Life doesn't have to be that boring, grey push. Just Zelda games, that same thing, the sense of adventure, like Link going off into the world. I think that's a real valuable bit of video game to take into your real life. And again, I love video games, but I hate that a good portion of people that play video games love the worlds that they spend time in these games, and they hate the outside world more and more because of what's happening in it. But against seemingly undefeatable animosity, surely isn't that the best time to be positive and be chipper and attempt to...
Instead of seeing the world so bleak.
And just retreating into another world. Being like, well, it doesn't matter that the world is what it is. I can go
into this
to
one.
Hyrule and not care.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but like, just know what you're doing. You're like running away.
That whole thing before, where we're talking about what your brain is trying to do. There were so many times when I've done shit like paragliding.
You've done paragliding?
I've done paragliding, bro. I have.
They let you do paragliding?
Yeah, paragliding. Yeah, you sit and you're on a...
someone else controlling it?
No, you're on a boat. Right?
I think I'm thinking of hang gliding.
Yeah, hang gliding.
What's paragliding?
So it's where you're in the sea and you're on a boat, and then they strap this massive like kite onto this.
Oh, I see. I know.
Onto
I
you,
know the deal.
and then on a rope, and then
you go up.
Yeah, you go up. So like constantly, I've seen that the way it feels at the start compared to like
after you've been doing it for a few hours.
Yeah, or after exactly like after you've been doing it for however long they want you to do it. They're like,
you come out on the other side and you're like, that was fun. And
easier than I thought.
Scary and easier.
Yeah, it's easier than I thought it was going to be. But at the start, before you even do it once, you're like, holy shit. Because you see, like,
the brain conjures up a negative image of what could happen.
Yeah,
it's
straight
like,
away.
Do you want to do this?
Straight away. Do you really want to? Yeah, this one. Exactly. And it's sort of like...
The good image isn't the one that comes to the front of the brain. It's always the fear-based one that comes to the top.
And
it's interesting.
It's what a lot of people nowadays are like, fearing, like, especially through this pandemic, going outside, you could die. You really want to do that? Let's stay inside.
Masked gang of men could stab you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like many things to a virus in the air that could literally kill you.
There's so like your brain is literally like, although it's like your best friend and your worst enemy at the same time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because with your brain, you come up with everything.
It was the best of times.
Yeah, it was the worst of times.
That is a very human quote.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's in acknowledging that and becoming aware. You can like beat your brain. Just become aware that it does that.
Mm-hmm. And then just be like, look, no. Stop.
Yeah. Probability, reason, and logic.
That's with...
Big three.
With me, I just always think of what could go right.
Yeah.
Instead, like as soon as I see a situation where I'm like, if I'm going on a plane ride, or I'm like, going on an adventure
or a roller coaster,
or a roller coaster,
like that, yeah.
All of it is like, what? Number one, I'm gonna have fun, and number two, I'm gonna do it and try my best to keep safe.
Yeah, to keep
you
safe.
Know what I mean?
That's
straight away. Like I'm not gonna think, shit, I'm gonna die. No. Fuck that, because that's just putting more stress on my brain. Not only on me, but like the way I think of everything else.
You have to think like that first, because I see people that go into situations, and I'm like, you didn't think about this.
No,
you're just throwing yourself. I used to do it all the time, like not think about
and just go and just go in.
And touch wood, thank God, I'm alive and safe. And it's all right. But you could like get into a real pickle living like that. So I think it is best to use logic and reason. I use odds. I'm like,
what are the odds of this?
Well, yeah, the brain throws the ridiculous situation up that could happen, and then I'm like, but how many times has that happened in my life?
Or to anyone.
Or to anyone, yeah,
you
definitely. So, logic and reason are great. They really allow you to be able to assess a situation and kind of maneuver through it. And this is why I love like David Lynch films, or just the films that we watch, because we're not even really talking about the film anymore, but it's definitely like in the same vein philosophically, and that the film was made in.
Yeah,
it's the same wheelhouse emotionally, and
it's the same attitude. Like you just we're sort
if
of
that woman if Naomi Watts' character had rationally bad things happened to her, and because she didn't like the outcome, she didn't take them on board emotionally and process them, and that led her to construct the narrative of, I'm the victim, and this didn't work out for this reason, and this reason, all of them it not being her own fault. So I guess I'm a big believer that a film, it's allegorical. It has a message and a lesson to be learned at the end of it.
Do you think every film that has that, though?
Well, sometimes the lesson is the person that made this film wants to make money. And that's fine. But that's just the reason that film exists. And sometimes great films are made like that. Or it might not be money. It might not be as an intense of a reason, like people make movies for fun.
I just wanted to do this. It was an idea I had. Fuck it.
100%.
Yeah.
But then there are people, your Kubricks, your Lynches, your Gilliams,
that constantly, well, not constantly, but
that do things with
message intent.
Well, just every single thing has intent in it, and Mulholland Drive's intent. We've not even spoke about like the club scene.
The club scene?
Yeah, where they go to the big theatre. Club Paradiso. With the opera singer and the man with the trumpet. It's really simple. Like, people think of these scenes as all weird, but it's just, like, easy. Like, he's playing the trumpet, and then he moves the trumpet away from his face, and the trumpet carries on playing. Well, that's, like, the entertainment industry. There's a track playing in the background. Like,
it's just, there's... I couldn't... I forgot about that scene, but how, like, fucking strange it was. Wasn't there, like, a woman that what did she do? He did something to that woman, didn't she?
Who's he?
The man that was playing the trumpet.
I can't remember what he does. I think he just announces her and she comes out and sings a song, doesn't she?
I swear he does something else. But
we could be missing a detail here. But the main point of that whole scene is just to show
the industry.
Yeah, the see-through nature and fake nature of the entertainment industry, just as a whole. And I think it's after that scene that she wakes up.
I see. It's not all doom and gloom all the time, obviously, when it comes to the entertainment industry.
Well, no. There are, for me, the opposite to the doom and gloom is people like David Lynch that show the doom and gloom. But, I watch films for fun, definitely.
Yeah.
I watched, The Founder the other day. I watched Bohemian Rhapsody yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Again?
I've never seen it. I went to an outdoor cinema.
I know, I saw
Drive-In.
Yeah. But Bohemian Rhapsody, the
Queen film.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I didn't see it when it came out.
Did you not? I swear Jack took you.
No, Jack went. We were going to see it, me and Jack.
Me and Jack went?
Point. Yeah, you and Jack went, but no, I didn't see it. And yeah, if we're going to talk about that.
It was a really good film.
I like Queen. They're one of the first bands I remember listening to. Mm-hmm. One of the earliest bits of music. We had Queen Greatest Hits. That was in my parents' CD collection, and it's one of the best-selling albums of all time. And, Killer Queen, Bicycle Race, really early memories for me. And I thought it was a really good film, but it was I can imagine the script was just a print out of the Queen Wikipedia page. It's because it was made by Queen, the remaining members of Queen.
Yeah.
It's a squeaky clean, tight version of the Queen story.
Yeah.
And then
I wish that in the film they played more of the songs that they had.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like the whole playlist they had there wasn't enough. There was just there was really good songs, but it wasn't enough.
It was it just showed the greatest hits of their career, in terms of not even just songs, just moments. All the classic Queen moments that everyone's heard about, you got to see the setup to and why that happened and stuff like that, and which was cool. But I could watch a 4-hour film about Queen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That goes
I could have carried on
the whole thing, and I really do feel just in the way that the film portrayed. I didn't know he was married to a woman before.
Oh, okay.
I did not know that. And they just let that relationship fall apart. It just seems like he could have ended up not having AIDS. That's the getaway that I got from that film. But I'm sure it's just the way the information was presented to me, but it just seemed how did when he goes up to her and he doesn't say anything, but she's say it.
That he's gay.
Yeah, that he's gay. And then he says, I think I'm bisexual. But there's not a point in the film before that shows him having an interest in men. No. Or does that one dude kiss him in the studio? Or is that before or after?
He gets AIDS?
No, the AIDS is at the end.
Yeah.
There's a dude that kisses him in the studio near the very beginning of the film. It's that same guy that he ends up living with and fucking his whole life up. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to work out if that is before he breaks up with his wife.
Yeah.
That was before?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is some indication that that a man had an interest in him.
Mm-hmm. No, I think...
It just seems like that bloke fucked Freddie's whole life up. Really.
Yeah,
that's what that film rings of to me.
What I think it was, from the beginning he was. But the time that he lived in, as in the time that he grew up in...
It was more repressed.
It was, more of an oppressed feeling that he didn't want to say. He was he sort of looked at men differently, but then didn't want to say it because at the time, his dad and all that shit.
I suppose growing up, you get the impression, you see pictures of Freddie Mercury wearing a white vest with a mustache, looking how he looks, and everyone calls him a gay icon. And we're living in
I never saw him as a gay icon.
He gets... that's the impression they did, even in the film.
Or maybe it's because
you see that
how I've grown up.
Yeah, I don't know how much Queen you were exposed to when you were younger. Probably not much.
No.
Whereas our upbringings are wildly different.
Yeah.
There was a fair bit of Queen blowing around me. And in Bohemian Rhapsody, you see that video they do where they all dress up as women.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, he's gay. Like, it was just obvious. It's not something I ever thought or constructed. It was just assumed. You just knew Freddie Mercury was gay.
It was, you
but
see,
my point is that from that film, seemingly, he was definitely fluid. And like, we live in 2020 now where like when we have some very outspoken, colourful people living on this planet right now that are like on Freddie's level in terms of being open.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's Freddie's everywhere sort of thing. And they consider themselves to be like all the different terms that exist now, pansexual and all of that. I'm sure Freddie would have flourished in that world, but he just got pigeonholed into the gay thing because it was the time that it was in like the 80s.
Like, in the 80s, there was only two things: gay, straight.
It really
now that different sexualities and different ways of being are out.
Well,
if he was born in this time and not Queen happened now instead of,
I don't think he would have got AIDS.
He wouldn't have.
No.
100%. He would not.
It was
have.
because of the secretive nature about it that it ended up happening. And that dude really does seem to kind of
He did fuck him up. He literally fucked him up.
Seemingly turned him gay and made him like live with him and made him sign a solo record deal and split Queen up.
Yeah.
But
I guess
I don't know if you know Sacha Baron Cohen, who plays Borat.
Yeah.
And Ali G.
Yeah.
He was meant to play Freddie.
Was he?
Yeah, and this film's been knocking around for years in production. And I remember being in like high school and reading about this Queen film that was meant to be made with Borat. It's quite exciting. But he left the film and he said it's because Queen wanted to like wash the story, like keep it clean. Even though that film's not that clean, but like I imagine
there was a lot more.
Yeah, I just imagine there's a whole load of stuff that didn't end up in that film. Sacha Baron Cohen is a man that prides himself on truth, really.
Yeah, he seems like the type of guy.
So he left the film, and I thought the dude as well, the actor, what's his name? Who played Freddie? If I say Rami Malek,
yeah, that's his name.
That's correct.
Yeah, Rami Malek.
God for that. I nearly said Zayn Malik, but he's a member of One Direction, isn't he?
Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, Rami Malek.
Rami Malek was really good. Really good. I really enjoyed him in that film.
I didn't know he had a twin, to be honest.
I didn't know he had a twin.
Yeah, till he talked about it in Graham Norton's show. He has a twin who he took a.
Is he a stunt double?
No, his twin was doing a test or something, and he couldn't do it because he had to act it out.
Oh, I see. So he sent his brother.
He sent his brother, who's an actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's that?
It's this family chat that we all do a big shit.
You're not gonna do that.
No.
Yeah.
Not today. Carry on. Rami Malek's brother.
Yeah. So he did a show. Well, he showed himself in Graham Norton's show or whatever, and he sort of like had to take this class or this test that his brother had to act out because his brother
he couldn't be there.
No.
He went for his brother.
Yeah, like he went for his brother because
they're interchangeable. They look alike.
Yeah. I think that they were the way that the teacher wanted his brother to do it. He wasn't comfortable with. And since Rami Malek, he's an actor. He's like, I'll do it.
Why not? Yeah.
All he has to do is remember lines, and then
Graham Norton has the best chat show in Britain.
He does.
Just straight up.
Yeah, like
it's like nearly as good as the worst American one.
The worst American one.
Americans just have the chat show thing down.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah. Like between Kimmel, Conan, Letterman, I mean, they're just like good at it.
Yeah.
They run,
And they've
the
been
shows
doing,
just run differently
yeah,
for some reason.
they've done it for years.
They have.
Years. Like, America has done it for literally decades.
I'm in a massive. The original one was called Johnny Carson.
Really? The original first ever one?
I don't know if he was the first. There might have been a dude before Johnny Carson, but David Letterman took over from Johnny Carson. Jay Leno took over from Johnny Carson. And David Letterman was supposed to take over from Johnny Carson, but Jay Leno stole the gig, basically, and then Letterman got his own show. But, yeah, I was watching all sorts of people on Johnny Carson. Muhammad Ali, the Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra. And it's just a different time, man. It's a completely... I'll send you some of the clips. They're so
please.
Funny. There's one.
I love listening to Muhammad Ali talk in interviews. He's so like...
He's very calm.
Yeah,
like,
he's very calm. Yeah.
Everything he says.
Yeah, it's just like people just trying to take him to be like some sort of like black person that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And then he just comes out and he just sounds so calm and collected.
Well, you expect a boxer.
Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson or like something like that. But you get a very articulate man, eloquently spoken. I need to show you this man called Don Rickles. You seen Toy Story? Any of them?
Yeah, I think the first one.
You know the voice of Mr. Potato Head?
Yeah.
That is Don Rickles. And he is a comedian that started in the 1950s and was alive until...
1950s?
And he was alive until like 3 years ago. And he had shows in Vegas the whole time. He had a 50-year run in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Parted with Frank Sinatra, all of them. He was like big in with all the Rat Pack and like back in the day in Vegas at all the casinos. And he's like roasted the presidents. He was like the king of the original roast.
Yeah, the king of comedy.
He was the king of comedy, Rupert Pumpkin.
Yeah, that's it.
But Don Rickles is hilarious. I need to send you some footage of Don Rickles. I highly recommend anyone out there go watch Don Rickles roasting Dean Martin.
Dean Martin?
Dean Martin, yeah.
The singer?
The singer, yeah. It's absolutely...
Great.
Hold no punches.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
That's good.
Yeah, we should probably wrap this up. It's been a nice chat.
It's been a quick minute, bro.
I'm quite liking these to wrap. Like, it's quite casual.
Yeah. Next time, let's bring some chairs.
We can sort the seating out next time.
That's
this
it.
is trial and error, you know?
Exactly. That's it.
But yeah.
We took it in and forgot about the fucking consequences.
Exactly. We didn't think about the bad things that could happen.
That's right. We only thought about the good things that could happen.
Unlike Naomi Watts' character in Mulholland Drive by David Lynch, which you should go and watch like right now.
Right now.
Right now. Stop what you're doing and watch Mulholland Drive.
Please. You'll see where we're coming from.
Until next time, everybody. Thank you very much for listening.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at MIP. Our website, MIPLT. What?
The Instagram is MIPLTD. The website is MIPLTD.org. And we've got a subreddit, if anyone is on Reddit, and we are down as the Mystery School. One word. Don't matter about caps, just type that shit in and you'll see what we've got going on over at Reddit. Say this at the end of every podcast, but, you know, we got stuff coming. We're working on more stuff that isn't just podcasts.
That's
films. Right. We're branching out. Different mediums are being used in the near future. So stick around. Give us a follow. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
What, you end the episode, Martin? Say something to end the episode.
Peace out.
You make me sick.